Chapter 5, Triangle Midsegments. And midsegments are points that actually connect the middle of two sides. So I have a midsegment and a midsegment because they are in the middle. And I know that they're in the middle because this segment is bisected, because it's the same length on each side. Because that's what those tick marks mean. So a triangle midsegment is a segment connecting the midpoints. So in this example, DE, or segment DE, is a midsegment. Mathematically, a triangle midsegment gives us special relationships. If a segment joins the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, then the segment is parallel to the third side and half as long. So what that means is if AC up here is 10, then DC would be 5 because it's half. So using the diagram above, if segment DE is a mid-segment of triangle ABC, then I know two things. I know that segment DE is parallel to segment AC. So everything we learned about parallel lines will be true. And I know that DE is equal to half of AC. Conversely, AC, or the larger segment, is equal to 2 times DE. And remember that when I'm talking about the segments, there is a line over top to show that it's a segment. And when I'm talking about numbers, there is no line. So if we look at example 1, it says identify all the parallel segments. So XY cuts QR and SR. So XY, segment XY, is going to be parallel to segment QS. And then I see that WX also cuts the sides of the triangle, but it doesn't cut RS. Therefore, XW is parallel to segment RS. And finally, I see that WY cuts two sides of the triangle in half. It bisects both sides, and it doesn't bisect segment QR. So that is the list of all the parallel sides. Please take a moment and answer question number 2. The answer to question 2, it wants you to identify the pair of parallel sides. So I'm going to start with GH is parallel to JL, and then JK is going to be parallel to FH, and then KZ is going to be parallel to GF. For question number 3, it says L, M, and N are the midpoints of the sides of triangle PQR. You must read the directions. And if it says that L, M, and N are the midpoints of the sides, then label that. Each of those get 1 tick mark, each of these get 2, and then that means that each of those will get 3. And it says that PR is 46. That's the whole thing. I'm not good at making those brackets. And PQ is 40. And LN is 17. Now notice I fill in the picture first. I'm not looking at any of these questions. I'm taking what I know about this picture and I'm drawing conclusions. So I know if ln is 17, I know QR is going to be twice that, which is 34. And if I take that a step further, I know that each of these smaller parts will be 17. I know that if PQ is 40, that is parallel to NM, so that's going to be 20. I know that if PR is 46, I know that LM is parallel, and half of 46 is 23. Once I have the segments on my picture filled out, now I'm going to do this part here. LM is right here. Hey, that's 23. MN is right here. I already figured out that was 20. QR, I know, is double LN, so that's 34. We already figured it out. And MR is right here. And as we talked about, because this is bisected, it's going to be half. 34 divided by 2 is 17. Take a moment and answer question 4. Please notice that question 4 asks you to find the perimeter, and remember the perimeter is found by adding up all the sides. So then the answers for 4, again, read the question. If F, G, and H are the midpoints of the sides of triangles CDE, then I'm going to mark them bisected. And FG is 9, and GH is 7, and CD is this big thing is 24. Because the letters tell me exactly where to look. So if CD is 24, and it is parallel to FH, that lets me know this is 12, because it's 24 divided by 2. CE is going to be double 7, because that is parallel to GH, so that's 14. And DE is parallel to 9, so that would be 18. Now I answer the questions. CE is 14, DE is 18, FH is 12, and it wants to know the perimeter of CDE, so I'm just going to add 24, 18, and 14. So that is 56. Now if we introduce some algebra to question number 5, I know that these are parallel because the sides are bisected. And I know the sides are bisected because the tick marks are the same. So therefore I know that 2 of these, 2 of the smaller one, is equal to the larger segment. And now I just use algebra. So 14x equals 17x minus 18. I'm going to subtract 17x. I get negative 3x equals negative 18. I divide by negative 3, and I get x is equal to 6. Now because the question asks me to find the value of x, I'm done. Please take a moment and answer question 6. So again, since these sides are parallel, and I know that they're parallel because the tick marks are the same on either side, it's a midsegment. 2 of the smaller measures equal the larger measure. So I set up my equation like this. 12x plus 62 equals 19x minus 36. I'm going to subtract 12 12x because it's smaller. Then I'm going to add 36, and I get 98 equals 7x, and therefore x is equal to 14. Question number 7 is done similarly, except instead of finding x, it wants to find DE. So that means there's going to be an extra step at the end. So again, these segments are bisected. DE is a midsegment. It is parallel to AB. 2 of these measurements, which is the smaller one, are equal to the larger one. So 8x plus 2 equals 11x minus 25. I subtract 8x from both sides because it's smaller, and I get 3x. I add 25, and I get 27 is equal to 3x. Therefore, 9 is equal to x. But the question doesn't ask me to find x. It asks me to find DE. So I'm now going to substitute 4 times 9 plus 1 because I'm substituting it into DE. 36 plus 1 is equal to 37. So DE equals 37. Please take a moment and answer question 8. So to solve question 8, again, it is the same type of situation. PQ, 2 times PQ is equal to 1 RT. These are mid-segments because the sides are bisected. So 2 times 15x minus 17 equals 23x minus 6. 30x minus 34 equals 23x minus 6. I subtract 23x and I get 7x. I add 34 and I get 28, and x is equal to 4. But remember, x is not my final destination because I want to find RT. So this is RT, so I just substitute. 23 times 4 minus 6 will give me 86. So RT is equal to 86. Number 9 is asking you to find the perimeter of triangle JKL, which is the larger triangle, if you know that segments MN, NO, and MO are midsegments. So that means that if ON is 42, KJ is 84. And it really doesn't matter where you start. And JL is double 49, which is 98. Now, unfortunately, MO and KL are an equation, so I'm going to have to use some algebra. So remember, 2 times MO, or 2 times 6x minus 1, equals 13x minus 10. So 12x minus 2 equals 13x minus 10. So x is equal to 8. But this segment is an 8. I'm sorry, excuse me. This segment is an 8 because I'm doing the larger triangle. So I have to substitute. And 13 times 8 minus 10 is 94. And I'm still not done because the question asked me to find a perimeter. I would say that 84 plus 94 plus 98 is equal to 276, and that's my final answer. Now for question 10, when it says find the measure of each missing angle, we have to use what we know about parallel lines and triangles. So I know if this is 127, that angle 2 makes 180 degrees with 127 because it's a linear pair. So this is 53. I know that because these lines are parallel Angle 1 and 127 make a linear pair because they are consecutive interior. And I know that angle 1 is 53. I know that angle 59 and angle 5 make a linear pair. Excuse me, they are supplementary because they are same side interior. So 180 minus 59 gives me 121. I know that 59 and 4 are corresponding angles, so that means angle 4 is 59. I know to find angle 3 that 59 and 53, all right, will give me 112. And since there are 180 degrees in a triangle, I would take 180 minus 112 and get 68. I calculate the picture, then I go back and fill this in. Angle 1 is 53, angle 2 is 53, angle 3 is 68, angle 4 is 59, and angle 5 is 121. Sometimes people think they have to find them in size order, and they do not. Please take a moment and find the answers to number 11. So I'm going to find angle 5 and angle 1 first because they are both supplementary to the 118. These are same side interior, and these are a linear pair. So 180 minus 118 is 62. I can't find 3 and 4 yet, so I'm going to find angle 2. I'm going to take 95 plus 62, and then I'm going to subtract that from 180, and I get 23 degrees. Well, if I know that this is 23 degrees, I know that angle 3 is 157 because they make a linear pair, and I know that angle 4 is 23 because they're corresponding. So angle 1 is 62, angle 2 is 23, angle 3 is 157, angle 4 is 23, and angle 5 is 62. For number 12, these are pointing to the angles, and again, because these are mid-segments, these lines are parallel, that means these lines are that means these angles are corresponding, which means that they're equal. And if I can set it up, I can solve it. This is 3x is going to be equal to 15, and x is equal to 5. And I was in a rush and didn't check, but all I need is x, so I'm done. Please take a moment and find number 13. You'll notice that number 13 is a little different because these are consecutive interior, which means that 5x plus 2 plus 11x minus 30 is equal to 180. So 16x minus 28 is equal to 180. 16x is equal to 208 because since this is minus, I'm adding it to each side. And when I divide both sides by 16, x is 13. Lastly, we have number 14, which you're being asked to find the measure of angle CBF, which is right here, which is just going to tell you where to substitute at the end. So remember, these are corresponding angles. So I take 9x plus 2 equals 15x minus 52. I subtract 9x from both sides and get 6x. I'm going to add that 52 at 54. And when I divide, I get that x is equal to 9. I have to substitute. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 plus 82 is 83. For my last question, if I look at number 15, I have the measure of angle RTV, so that's RTV, and then I see that these are consecutive interior, so 6x plus 1 plus x plus 4 equals 180, 7x plus 5 equals 180, 7x is equal to 175, therefore x is equal to 25, but I'm not done because I want angle RTV, so I'm going to take 25 plus 4 and get 29.